Hi, it's JJ. So I am doing an update to this video I did explaining why TikTok will not be banned in the United States in the near future. And the worst thing that can happen to TikTok, irrespective of what you've seen in the media, irrespective of the various different hot takes on various different social media platforms, irrespective of how hostile the lawmakers were to the TikTok CEO in recent hearings, the worst thing that's going to happen to TikTok is that it will be forced to sell itself to an American company. And I highly doubt that whatever American company acquires TikTok will ruin it and run it to the ground so that it stops making money. Because right now it's one of the #1 apps that has a lot of downloads, a lot of people on it. It's figured way, its algorithm of making lots of money. So I don't think whichever company that perhaps potentially would purchase it, if it's forced to be sold, will ruin that. So that's the long, short, too long, did not read version of this. I want to encourage you to watch that video before. There's been updates, and that's the purpose of this video, was to update that one. When I did that last video, I let you know in the end of it that there is precedent for the United States forcing a company that is in China, which is a private company, but is based in China, to sell itself to an American. That example was Grindr. It was owned, and the interagency that is right now, currently, for the past 2 years, have been investigating ByteDance, which is a company that owns TikTok. Back then, forced the company that owned Grindr to sell itself, and Grindr is still in the app. Grindr still exists. For what I know, I'm not, I'm not gay. I'm not on any dating apps. I'm married. It hasn't really changed much for the most part in terms of degrading its quality. So that is the long and short of it. But to update this video that I did a few weeks ago or so, the only thing that's new is that back then I let you know that the reason why nothing's going to be done is because, irrespective of what the lawmakers have said, the current president of the United States, Joe Biden, has veto proof. And at that taping, as of back then a few weeks ago, Joe Biden had said that he's going to wait for that interagency that's investigating ByteDance to complete its investigation before he steps in. They've been doing it at 2 years. They started at the behest of the previous president, Donald Trump, in 2020, and it's 2023, and it's a lot of agencies, a lot of paperwork, a lot of data. They're digging and digging. And since then, ByteDance has said in no uncertain terms that all of our data centers are here in the United States. We hire American employees. The data center we use actually is an American data center. We're not doing any data collection outside of what's already been done by the other major now social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, which is Meta, Google, YouTube. We're doing the exact same thing. Nothing is unique from what we are. And irrespective of your accusations that were behest to Chinese government, there's no evidence of that. We don't do that, and you don't have to trust us. You don't have to believe us, but that's just what we're saying. So that's essentially what's been going on for the past 3 years. And since then, ByteDance has tried to make little concessions here and there. You might have heard that they decided to sort of do this initiative where they're capping down and stopping children from watching over a certain amount of TikTok content per day without parental approval to do it beyond that. They're doing other things and making other concessions because they want to keep their company. But however, if they have to force to sell it, they will sell it. Why? It does not make sense for them to say, you know what, we're just going to not sell it, and we're going to say goodbye to all the money we made from Americans in the United States, and just, be fine with it. That's not what's going to happen. More likely is that they're more willing to say, fine, we'll just sell it, and at least whatever the value of the company is at that point, I'm sure it's probably over $1 billion. They'll just cash out at that point. That's what's realistically, from a business perspective, is going to happen. And also, when people say, well, perhaps another social media platform is behind all of this, and that could be the case, because once upon a time I was a lobbyist. So lobbyists are the people who hang out in the lobbies hoping the lawmakers come out to catch their ear. But nowadays, lobbyists essentially are usually law firms, are paid by their clients, which are usually corporations, to present ideas, present legislation, draft up sample legislation to give to lawmakers to propagate and put forth before Congress and hope that they get passed, because in the long run, there's usually a pecuniary or monetary interest of their clients. And that's how it works. And people are saying that perhaps Meta's lobbyists were the ones behind this push, because Meta wants to access it. Google wants to access it. Lots of companies wants to access TikTok to see what makes it tick. Pardon the pun, to see, what are the algorithms behind, how are they making so much money, what are they doing, and if they were to acquire it, they will acquire the technology and the staff. And whatever company does that, again, like I said before, they're not going to say, oh, now we have TikTok, let's destroy it. Why? Because they will be TikTok. The same way when Facebook purchased Instagram, it necessarily run Instagram into the ground because it now owns Instagram. So it's in its best interest to keep Instagram running. So whatever company acquires TikTok, it's in their best interest to keep TikTok the well-oiled machine that it is. It does not make sense. There also one other myth that I've heard is people saying that that the lawmakers are doing this because they have owned stock in Meta, and so if TikTok goes away, their stock goes up. That's just ridiculous because that's the long game. The stock market is speculative. There's no one controls the stock market, and if TikTok goes away, it's a possibility actually their stock would decrease. So why play that gamble in that game? What's more realistic is that most likely the lobbyists that are coming to them perhaps promise them a lucrative cut of their, a donation to their next campaign. So that seems like something why they perhaps would push forward a bill or support it. And that is where you're getting perhaps the bipartisan support for any an issue. And then the word ban TikTok is just provocative. The same way the words BLM is provocative. It's provocative for a purpose. When people say stuff like, defund the police, that's provocative. The fancy words for defund the police is let's take away some of the exorbitant amount of funding that we have to police and distribute it to mental health services for social workers. That's what they really mean, but that's a lot of words. To say ban the police is going to get people riled up. And the one emotion we all should know by now that gets people pissed off is anger. So if you can anger people or scare them or drive fear to them, you're more likely going to get them to move or do what you want to do. So all of those buzzwords for controversial, vitriolic sort of, divisive sort of campaigns are made that way for a purpose. So the 3 words ban TikTok is really provocative, and essentially what it means, not ban TikTok, what they really want to say is force ByteDance to divest itself 100% and sell to an American company. And in no way does that equal banning TikTok, but that's a lot of words and no one has time for all that, and that's not going to necessarily get people to move, but the words ban TikTok will get people to move. So there you have it. That's my take. I believe someone told me that other attorneys, I haven't seen anybody else's take. I don't watch anybody else's. I've been so busy doing my own thing. So this is my own perspective. I didn't get this from anybody else saying this. I said this in the last video when I heard about it. It's from my own experience as an attorney, a telecom, a tech lawyer, and a former lobbyist in this space, knowing how law works, knowing how legislature works, knowing how a lot of those hearings were just grandstanding because the lawmakers want to go on record to say they stood up to China, because once they go on record, they're on record. So it doesn't matter they're saying all those things. It's really just to scare people or just to actually, they're speaking to the constituents. And if you're not in the constituents, you're going to be pissed off and scared, but it's not, the message isn't really targeted for you. And it works because there are a lot of people who are like up in arms and things like that. So anyway, so that's my take on it. Share this if you like, for anyone who's worried. And my take is just be calm, and at some point I'll be proven right and you'll be like, oh wow, she was right all along. But if you don't want to take my position for it, if you want to keep being stressed out about it, that you can do that too as well. It is what it is, but I recommend you be less stressed out. Anyway, that's it. I'm not doing much editing on this. I just wanted to say what I had to say. I'm going to just upload this onto my YouTube channel as is. Watch the other video if you want to see the other things on there. And yeah, stay on this. If you like what I have to say, I do hot takes like this. You can subscribe to this channel, and you do that by hitting the subscription button and the notification bell right next to it. And YouTube will let you know when I upload a new video. In the meantime, you want to see other hot takes, watch this playlist right here.